Next on the list, obviously this is a big hit maker. We watched this during the the Xbox games showcase. Call of Duty 4. One of the things we sort of talked about, our initial reaction was the fact that they seemingly have added a new spectator view. And Caveman, you mentioned this, that our initial reaction might have been potentially a little bit off. But it was a
Just a
spectator.
bit.
Yeah, just a bit, just a tad, just a tad. For the spectator view was for a DMZ, and I thought it would have been cool if it was sort of introduced in different modes, right? So I guess the question then becomes like, is it something? Is it just a gimmick here, right? Like, or is Call of Duty trying to innovate? And then we have some bigger questions that we'll dive into, but Call of Duty, all of the things that we sort of noticed was a little bit multi-layered, right? So what do you think about just concentrating on the new spectator view? Does it belong in other areas, Caveman, or do you think it only belongs in this area, or is it essentially not needed at all in terms of innovation that Call of Duty is bringing, right? Like, should they be doing other stuff?
If I'm not mistaken, they've actually done that helmet cam view in other games as well.
Yeah.
But it wasn't a predominant thing. And honestly, I find it to be annoying. It is cinematic. It looks cool, especially the way that they set it up. But I find it to be annoying. And the main reason why is if I am viewing somebody, usually when you see those kill cams, that's when you're, spectating somebody for a second, right? And if you see it from a slightly different perspective than what the player did, you don't have the full context, right? And for that very reason, the fact that it is ever so slightly different, that annoys me, right? Now, for what they showed in the DMZ, you're not, I mean, I would imagine I think you might spectate, you might get a kill cam if you die. I'm not sure. I don't remember from the reveal. But spectating your teammates, that's a little bit different because at that point you don't need to see exactly what they see in real time. I don't care if I'm spectating a teammate. The thing that I care about is why did they not show? Why did they choose to show a spectator for their reveal versus gameplay? Like just not dead gameplay, right?
Yeah,
That's
so
the
so that
main
was that
thing.
was the next question in terms of the multi-layered question. So okay, but before we jump to that, Billion, what do you think about the new spectator view? Did you think it was cool? Do you think it belongs in terms of like innovation that sort of like does a view belong in the game? Do you care about it? Is it something that's innovative? Can it be used in other places? What do you think about it? I know as LZ would say, you're a Call of Duty sweat, or former Call of Duty sweat. What are your thoughts?
I'm gonna be honest here. I could care less for the camera view. Does it have place in multiplayer? For me, no, not at all. Possibly, while I was thinking about it, I was thinking that if they were to use that camera view in multiplayer outside of DMZ, what game mode could they use it in? It would either have to be if you're actually playing from that view, then it has to be its own playlist. Or if you're spectating from that view, it could be a feature where you're spectating on search and destroy, because once you're dead on search and destroy, your team can't hear you on the mic. You can't tell them, hey, the person's pulling up on the bomb while you're there. So if it gave you the option to spectate your teammate that's alive on S&D in that camera view, okay, cool. It gives it a little cinematic feel, again, because you can't help your teammates. Outside of that, I don't really see the use for it. I'm not gonna say I don't like it, because Call of Duty's Call of Duty. It's been here for a long time. it's generally the same game for the most part. Little things change here and there, like weapons and stuff like that. But they're just trying to introduce something new to the game series, and I'm all for it. But it just has to be used in the right way, in the way that makes sense. I think the Call of Duty community is so hard on the developers when they introduce new things that for the game studio, it's safer to play it safe than it is to create
Innovate.
something that nobody necessarily wants or cares for playing a first person shooter.
I hear that. So funny enough, I actually think that, and obviously I'm not a Call of Duty sweat. I've been playing Call of Duty for a while now, but I'm a very much a casual player, or maybe less than a casual player, honestly.
The casual of casuals.
Yeah, I am the most like I will pick up a game if y'all boys are online, but man, I am not picking it up otherwise, unless something else. I'm just tired of playing anything else in my lineup, I guess. But I actually find the camera to be kind of interesting. One of the reasons why I say that is because like we've seen some new games, and I agree with you, Billion. I do think it has to be on its own playlist. I think one of the things that I did notice, just before I circle back to that thought, is the fact that they kind of seemingly pulled one of the capabilities from Battlefield 6 where you can pull your teammate to safety. That was kind of interesting. So with that in mind, and Call of Duty sort of pulling from other games in the genre, other games that I thought about when I looked at the camera view was basically, for example, Escape from Tarkov, or we talked about what's the name of the one game? I think it's Kill Cam, where you do like the tactical missions where
body cam.
Okay, so body cam. I like the fact that the camera sort of moves around a little bit and adds a little bit of suspense and pressure, and it makes you feel the movement as if you are in there. Now, I recognize that not being able to see it from the view, there's things that are obstructed, but it adds a lot of suspense to what you as the player are doing by having just that sense of camera view, and it adds a little bit of tension and pressure to the gameplay for me. So I thought that was kind of interesting. What about you? What about you, Shells? What do you think about the camera view? Do you care about it? Do you not care about it?
I don't have any quarrels about the camera view at all. Like I mean, I'm not too much of a Call of Duty player, so I don't really have too much of a problem with it. I know that it's a first person shooter FPS. So, but I can understand why that is because of all the action, especially in the campaign. It's like right there in front of you. So I couldn't really that type of a game. I don't even honestly see it even being third person. I just couldn't see it being that type of game, mainly because I guess it's the way how it was introduced to me, and it's been only in first person for so long. So yeah, I don't really have an issue with the camera view or anything of that sort. So yeah, but the game does look cool though. It does look interesting. So
Yeah. All right. So continuing on, I think Caveman, you touched on it, bro. So all right. There's a lot of questions that seemingly Call of Duty did not in Call of Duty 4, we did not see actual gameplay. So Caveman, I know you got some strong opinions about it, man. I'm gonna let you just dig in right now. All right.
Well,
so what do you think is going on with that? What's odd about it? What's the suspicion there?
It's not so much that it wasn't gameplay. What we saw was gameplay.
Right.
But we saw it from the the spectator point of view.
Right.
And because of that, we didn't see the changes that were made. We didn't see the looting. We didn't see the UI. We didn't see what we will be actually experiencing while we play. And I think that's a huge miss.
So one thing that I hear you that's interesting, I heard looting. And, when I think about Call of Duty from story mode to multiplayer, looting is Warzone, man. Which I feel is separate from Call of Duty as a franchise. Like they've tried to separate that because it's a free to play, right? And free to play has its own specific characteristics.
Yeah, but this is DMZ. This is not free to play. You have to buy the game to play
for DMZ.
DMZ.
Okay, so you're
Yeah.
saying like just as one of the specific game modes for DMZ.
Yeah.
Okay, I got you.
So it's a little bit different. Like, I can understand if it's a free to play game, something that's been out for a while. Sure, you don't really have to show that off. But the DMZ that we saw years ago is not the DMZ that we're getting now. They've had plenty of time to iterate on it. They've changed a bunch of things. It is going to be a new experience. At least it should be. That's the way it's being advertised. So the fact that we have to pay for it, it's a new experience. We should be able to get a little preview of that. Especially if you're showing off a gameplay reveal of the game. Why are we not seeing the full gameplay? And that is my problem with it.
So, Billion, I know you've had some strong like opinions too, bro. So what are your thoughts on the fact that they didn't hide, like, or that they didn't show, or seemingly didn't show any, gameplay in the UI and all the other things that Caveman seems to have some concerns about?
Well, I was saying the same thing. When I saw the reveal trailer and then they revealed DMZ, I was like, okay, like, who cares about this? Like, I don't care about DMZ. I think majority of us here, or most people that play Call of Duty, it used to be about the multiplayer. I'm more interested in, like, what does multiplayer look like now? In the last week or so, all of the big Call of Duty players or channels that are on YouTube, they did get invited out to play Modern Warfare 4 early, as always before the game comes out. The big channels like Swag or Exclusive A's or other people like that, they get to see these games early and they get to test them out. But we didn't get to see multiplayer gameplay. Like, I'm more concerned about what does the new Gunsmith look like? How's the new Gunsmith working? Is it the same? They mentioned something about a new Apex attachment that's not taking up a slot. Like, how are some of these things working? Like, this was the opportunity to show multiplayer gameplay and bring back the people that kind of left the franchise the last couple of years, because as we all know, they have been having a rough little couple seasons. The last 2 or 3 Call of Duties that came out, you had a lot of people leave and go to Battlefield. I wasn't one of those Battlefield people because I could care less for Battlefield also. I kind of moved to like Apex, even though it's a different type of game, Battle Royale. I'm not a huge fan of the Battle Royale with Call of Duty. But, I think these are the things that we're interested in, that we want to see. But they led with DMZ and over-the-shoulder camera view. And, I personally don't want to see that. Like, it's cool if they showed it, but show it second. Or, make the focus something else. Make the focus multiplayer. Or, maybe even, they did show the campaign, but it was more
like actual gameplay from the campaign and things like that.
Gameplay with the campaign, exactly. Like, it was a cinematic view. Like, cool. We know this is Call of Duty. It's always going to look good when you show a cinematic view. Like, what does the gameplay look like? So
and maybe that's some of the concern too, is that we can be some tough critics as gamers too, is that they might worry that the game might get some flack at, before the game even has a chance to spread its wings, considering that they have been trying to try to separate, but also some seemingly integrate all of their products into one. One of the things that I find sort of overwhelming is when I jump into Call of Duty from my PS5 is that like there's just a lot going on with the screen. I feel like I'm in a slot machine, dude. Like, you know what I mean? So there's a lot happening with their screen, and things are popping up at you every couple of seconds, and trying to, especially if you haven't logged in a little while, it can be a little overwhelming. And it's hard to sort of differentiate, particularly if you don't have some of their most recent games, to be able to kind of like see like, okay, like I want to play this game, and you're like, oh, okay, I'm missing a bunch of different components and things like that. So now I hear you. They might need to have an opportunity to concentrate elsewhere. Go ahead.
I do hope they update the
UI,
the loading screen, because it is hectic. Even for people that play it, the Call of Duty players, they don't necessarily like it. Hopefully, they clean that up, make it a little bit better, make it easier.
Less stuff. You know
I
what I mean?
don't see them doing that. I think they're going to keep it.
Yeah, and that's unfortunate because
they just need to update it and just make it a little bit easier to use, easier to navigate.
Yeah, because like there's one of the things that's kind of frustrating too, and we'll move on probably to the next topic in a little bit. But one of the things that I find kind of frustrating with Call of Duty now is because Modern Warfare 2 2019, I thought was the UI was pretty clean. Like it had sort of like that Desert Storm, sandy, like feel to it, and it was all right. It was clean. It was a clean UI. It wasn't overwhelming. Now they have sort of embedded like that zombie screen that they added. Like there's like these like highlighting colors and like very like dark but popping colors that sort of pop out, and it's just kind of like, yo, like this is a lot.